So now let's have our first speaker turn on their video, excuse me. Brother Salah Obeidallah. So I'll give a brief introduction to him while he's getting his video situated. Brother Salah Obeidallah, he is the president of American Halal Institute and the executive director of NATE, the North American Islamic Trust. And he's going to give us a brief introduction to halal, the definition, what it entails. So please, Brother Salah, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam, Brother Salah.
Wa alaikum salam jami'an. Halal is in a very simple word, is permissible, meaning what is a Muslim permitted to eat and acquire or use in his daily life. And of course, to make sure that a product is halal is sometimes could be a tedious process, but we try to simplify it and make it easy for people to become halal certified or halal eligible. My main concern today, I wanted just to talk about AHI. AHI is really a division of a North American Islamic Trust, which is NATE. NATE is basically the largest Waqf organization in North America. We have always tried to see the need of the Muslim community here in America and try to fulfill that need. We had done that through the trust aspect of it back in the 70s and 80s, and we continue to do so. And then we did that in the 80s and 90s by providing Islamic books and translation of Islamic books to make it available for the Muslim community when it was absolutely needed and nobody was fulfilling that need. We also, realized that people also needed to invest their funds or money in a halal manner, and that's when we introduced Amana mutual fund, and then we followed that with Iman mutual fund in order to make sure that the Muslim has an option of at least growing his funds and investing his funds in a halal manner. So it's really a natural progression or a natural extension for us to be involved in the halal products, because we see there is an absolute need for the Muslim community to have halal products, whether as Brother Ibrahim said, in the school for children who are at lunchtime, they would have to start looking for items that they can eat, and the concern that parents would actually have to make sure that their kids would not be eating something that is haram. So it is a challenge for a Muslim. And also when you go shopping, it's very difficult to find halal products. So we are trying to change that scenario by advocating, that's why we established AHI, American Halal Institute. The main functions or the main mission of AHI is to basically advocacy in the sense that we want to promote halal products and services by extenuating the need and soliciting public and official support for the availability of halal products and services. This is a process that requires the involvement of Muslims, pressuring, the likes of Costco and the likes of larger chains to make sure that they provide the kind of products for us. And of course, it requires certain Muslims, activists, to reach out to those organizations to promote halal products. And not only that, not only for the benefit of the Muslims, but also for the benefit of those organizations that would be providing that kind of those products and thus increasing their revenues in the process. We also want to educate and train people of what is halal, and to make sure that there are enough people who can actually understand what halal is and what it entails, and how to make sure that a halal product is halal. There's the expression that it's from the farm to the fork, meaning that we have to make sure that in order for an item to be halal, from the very beginning of the source all the way till it gets to the table, it is a halal. So it means that when we're talking about meat, we want to make sure that it's not that non-halal meat is not shared in the same facility with halal meat, that it's transported also separately, or isolated in the transportation process, that it's handled differently, that it when it makes it to the cutting board, it's cut, you know, in a halal environment. So that, you know, it's a process that has to be, you know, that people have to pay attention to it, whether in the manufacturing side or on the distribution side, and even on the retail side. So we want to make sure that people understand how to maintain the halal ecosystem correctly. Of course, in order for halal to be, you know, like even when you go and say, people say, yeah, this is a halal item, the Muslim consumer is concerned about whether is it really truly halal. So we want to make sure that we try to develop standards for what halal is, at least an acceptable standards for the Muslim community here in the US. And then we want to make sure that there are certifying organizations, including ours, including AHI, that would follow those guidelines. And then, you know, when an item is actually stamped as halal, that the Muslim consumer would believe that it's truly halal, and he doesn't have to question it and say, oh, no, maybe it's not halal, maybe not. All of those issues have to be resolved in order for halal to become an acceptable, or at least a halal certification to become an acceptable form of assurance. We, of course, simplifying the certification process would be worthwhile for those who produce it and those who provide it. And to also make sure that if we make the halal products and services readily available to Muslims, and competition thus increases, that usually will reduce the cost of halal products. Nowadays, I mean, if you go and buy a halal chicken or halal meat or whatever, usually you'd have to pay a premium of 30 to 40%, sometimes even as much as 100%. So what happens is that we, you know, if there's an availability and there is competition, most likely the Muslim consumer would benefit out of this competition through reduced prices. That's basically our mission, is to make sure that halal is available, that halal is reasonably priced, that people are assured that when an item is labeled as halal, it is truly halal. And we can talk about halal issues, hopefully, and halal, you know, how to make sure that an item is halal. That would probably require another workshop. But for now, I think this is, I will stop right over here. Should there be questions later on, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much.